You want some more scone?
Yeah.
Hello, ni hao, xin dao, or whatever else your greeting of choice may be from a humid, drizzly Monday in Shanghai, China. Like a lot of runners, I like to head out every Sunday for a weekly long run. But with summer in southern China bringing almost unbearable heat and humidity, I've been really struggling to cronk out more than just a handful of kilometers before throwing in the towel and heading home early, exhausted. In fact, I think I've only made it as far as 20 kilometers once in the last month. I tend to think of myself as a marathon runner, even if I've only run 4 of the things so far, because that's what my training is usually geared towards. But despite feeling pretty fit overall right now, the chances of me finishing a full marathon in these conditions are pretty much 0, no matter how slow I run. But that got me thinking. As someone who likes to run doubles, that is, do 2 runs in the same day, and as someone who's regularly been breaking my long runs in 2 as a result of the insufferably swampy conditions around here, could I run a marathon, and what would it feel like to do so, if I split it down into parts and spread it out throughout the day? Well, that's exactly what I set about doing yesterday. So if you'd like, why not stick around and see how it went? Welcome to 6 AM. Well, not even 6 AM actually. What I will say is it feels a little bit cooler and a little bit less humid out at this time of day. And I know I should be getting up earlier to run, but it's not easy dragging yourself out of bed. Especially not when you're habitually kept up later than you'd like by a fussy child. Alright, we're out here for part 1 of what I'm hoping is going to be a marathon in 3 parts. Now I've decided to split the distance 3 ways because A, I don't really fancy trying to run 2 half marathons in the heat and humidity that we've been enjoying lately. And B, I want to see how my body responds to running 3 times in the same day, which is something I don't think I've ever tried to do before. At this stage of my running journey, running twice a day is something I've already grown well accustomed to. Adding an extra run here or there to boost my overall mileage feels a lot more manageable and less fatiguing than simply trying to increase the distance of the runs I already do. It's a way of getting in extra work while spreading the fatigue out over time and allowing for greater recovery in between. What I want to know is whether adding even more mileage and then splitting it 3 ways is just the logical extension of that, or if it's actually going too far and is going to do more harm in terms of fatigue than good in terms of stimulating positive adaptations. Today's little experiment is hardly a rigorous scientific test, but it should give me some subjective idea of what my body can handle. That's the turnaround point. Halfway through, or 1/6 of the way through, depending on how you look at it. Oh, all right, 14k done. That's 1/3 of the way through. That was really hard, and in theory, that should be the easiest part. And yeah, I kind of already feel like I'm done for the day.
What are we doing?
We are off to the shopping centre down there, Longsemang, because I managed to drop my phone from a great height, like an idiot, and now we need to go and get it fixed. You need to go and play!
Yeah!
Yeah! It should probably have occurred to us that coming to a shopping mall at 9 o'clock in the morning it was going to be a bit of a ghost town. The coffee shops at least are open. Alright, let's try this looking down, see if we can't minimise the water on the lens. So here we are on the 2nd run of the day, and as you might be able to tell, it's raining. Honestly, that's not much of a surprise. It was raining for large parts of my run this morning, and Shanghai's been like this pretty much non-stop for about the last week. In terms of how I'm feeling, this morning's run took it out of me a little bit more than I expected it to, I guess because of the conditions, and I've kind of felt like I've had a low-level hangover for the rest of the morning after finishing it. But I've done my best to rehydrate and refuel, and I'm now feeling a little bit better. In terms of my legs, they're actually feeling pretty good. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm quite used to running twice in a day now, and so I was never expecting this one to be too much of a problem. I did go into today thinking that this 2nd run was likely to be the most difficult, but that's mainly because it's been scheduled for mid-afternoon, and the heat and humidity recently have been appalling. Luckily, at the moment the rain seems to be keeping both of those factors in check, so I'm hoping I should be able to get through this one relatively unscathed. Right, not quite halfway through, and we have encountered A blocked route. Guess we're gonna have to go around. Woohoo! 7.1k, so that means we're halfway through today's challenge. I'm very happy to report that the rain's held up and the heat and the humidity haven't risen at all. So unlike this morning where I felt absolutely awful for most of the run and honestly really struggled to complete it, I've been feeling stronger and stronger as this one's been going on, which gives me a lot of optimism for tonight. All right, second run of the day done. 14.1k, so we are on 28k. We're 2/3 of the way through a marathon in 3 parts. Just one final run to do this evening once everyone's gone to bed. So just a quick status check. Honestly, that run really didn't feel too bad, unlike this morning's run. And despite the fact it didn't feel that easy, I guess because I've got tired legs, it certainly didn't feel super hard either. So I'm pretty optimistic that when we go out this evening, we should be able to finish this fairly safely. All right, I'm gonna head upstairs and chill for a bit. See you tonight. Well, hello there. So I'm out here, obviously, doing the final 14-kilometre stretch of my marathon in 3 parts. I'm using a bit of a weird impromptu lighting rig. I've basically just clipped a reading light to my GoPro so that you can see my face. Hopefully it works and you can see me and it doesn't look too weird. I've just realised the downside of this is that I actually can't see the road in front of me. Do you know what? Maybe I'll stop and walk for this bit. Stop the watch while we're at it. Don't want to be accused of cheating. Yeah, so it's about 8:30, or it's about 8:30 when I started. So hopefully we should be able to cronk this one out and then get back home without having to delay Felix's bedtime. Walked into a railing. This is a nice idea in theory, but it's not working out so well in practice. As for the run, things are feeling all right. I'm about 3-4k in at the moment, and I'm taking it very easy. It's very much been a little zone 1 jaunt so far. And that's mainly because my left calf is feeling kind of tight. My knees are feeling very sensitive and creaky. My glute, specifically my left glute, is aching quite a bit. And just all around, I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. And I guess the interesting thing is, considering I broke this up into 3 parts and I've had a decent amount of rest between them, my body, like physically, in terms of muscular fatigue and stuff like that, is feeling about how I would expect it to feel at this stage, distance-wise, into an actual marathon if I was just doing it all in one go. Maybe that's just down to a lack of adrenaline that comes with this not really being that sort of big occasion that a marathon is. Maybe it's an indication that these shorter rests aren't really giving me that much benefit in terms of muscular recovery. Either way, just an interesting observation. I'm not really sure there's too much else to say right now. I'm 99% confident that we're going to get this done, but I think we're going to get it done at a very slow, very easy pace. Overall, it's been a pretty interesting day trying something that I've never done before, but I am pretty tired and I'm pretty much ready for this to end. All right, that's the 3rd part done, 14.1k, and that is a marathon, albeit in 3 parts. Hello again, and welcome back to the day after the ordeal before. I joke, it certainly wasn't an ordeal, but I must admit it was a little more taxing than I was expecting. The main thing that strikes me, now that I've had a good night's rest and a full morning to recover, is that my muscles and joints feel just about as sore as I would expect them to if I'd run a regular, non-stop marathon. I had thought that with all that rest and recovery between each third, I'd be able to mitigate a lot of the physical strain and damage that all that running was doing to my body. But if spreading the distance throughout the day did do anything to help, it certainly wasn't enough for me to definitively feel the difference. Where I think it really did have an impact was in terms of fueling and hydration. That, and obviously allowing me to actually finish the distance, because I doubt very much that I'd have been able to finish a full marathon in current conditions and with my recent lack of long runs. And that, I think, is the only real benefit of tripling up, being able to add in extra mileage if, for whatever reason, you're struggling to go long. I asked at the beginning of the video if this was just a natural progression of doing double days, or if this was maybe taking things a bit too far. And I think from my experience yesterday, it was the latter. Unless I was chasing insane mileage, something like 100 miles a week, I can't really think of any scenario where I do this on a regular basis. For someone like me, and I would imagine 99% of other recreational runners, double days is as far as we're ever going to need to go. Anyway, that was my marathon in 3 parts triple run day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll see you next time out. Hello, ni hao.
Xindao, whatever else your greeting of choice may be, from Shanghai, China. That's probably one of the last few times I'm going to be able to say that, as we're now less than 3 weeks out from the big move to Vietnam.